We move on to this story now. President Cyril Ramaphosa has said that the clean energy transition must be just and fair, and that it's a journey that requires commitment and partnership. He was speaking on the first day of a major climate finance summit in Paris alongside 30 other heads of state and other government representatives. Our SABC News correspondent Ross Cullen gives us the latest. Ross, there's certainly these talks having kept you quite busy over the past 48 hours or so. I mean, just talk to us about the key points that we did hear from the South African president, but also how it was received by delegates.
Yeah, Cyril Ramaphosa is taking part in the concluding sessions of the Summit for a New Global Financial Pact, that climate finance summit that's been taking place yesterday, Thursday and today, Friday. The closing ceremonies and also the conclusions of the roundtables will be presented today. President Ramaphosa on Thursday took part in the second of 6 different roundtables, and the one he was focused on was alongside the President of the Republic of Congo and the President of Egypt, and the 3 leaders spoke about green growth and green infrastructure and how to tie economic expansion in a country to renewable aims and sustainable goals. President Ramaphosa speaking, being frank about the energy challenges in South Africa at the moment, and saying that there needs to be an energy transition that is flexible, that brings everybody with it, that leaves no citizen behind. We do know that today he has also got other bilateral meetings scheduled for this afternoon, this Friday afternoon, and we're on exactly the same time in Paris and in South Africa back home. He's got a potential meeting with Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, and also potentially the Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly an important discussion that is taking place. But it's interesting that what we've heard from the President of South Africa really highlighting that the just energy transition needs to be free and fair. And I was keen to hear just the response, particularly from the West, around what that's going to look like. Yesterday, you and I touched a little bit on even climate change financing for the African continent. Any progress that's being made on that issue, particularly where African countries are also calling for that to be improved?
Yeah, overnight we had another communique released, which was headed up by France and the Republic of Congo, President Denis Sassou Nguesso, and that was focused on natural capital, so trying to focus on green financing and especially the protection of forests, the protection of biodiversity. We touched on this yesterday as well about just how biodiverse a country like the Republic of Congo is, a country like South Africa is in terms of its flora and its fauna, and there needs to be protection there, but that needs to be coming at the same time, not delinked from protection of education and also furthering of women's rights and the furthering of young people's rights, and also the continuing battle to try to reduce poverty levels in countries in the global south, in developing economies. And so we have had communiques, we have had some movement forward. I'm not expecting, and I don't think the delegates were expecting, anything on the scale of the 2015 Paris Climate Accord, although there is that ambition, obviously, to agree on something of that scale in terms of a restructuring of the international financial architecture, to use the phrase yesterday from Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing us the latest. What's the next part of the program? I think before I let you go, Ross, what else is still to come?
The programme is concluding this morning, this Friday morning, and it opens up a chance for bilaterals this afternoon. We know that President Macron is scheduled to meet William Ruto of Kenya, Macky Sall of Senegal and other world leaders this afternoon. His finance minister, the French finance minister Bruno Le Maire, has been meeting his counterparts. For example, Nirmala Sitharaman of India, also the Brazilian finance minister Fernando Haddad. And so there is that opportunity for ministerial level meetings. And we know that South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has brought with him his finance minister Enoch Godongwana, and also the international relations minister Naledi Lady Pandor, she's also here. So there is that discussion at ministerial level also taking place. It's not just president to president. There are also secretaries speaking to their counterparts.
Yeah, well, you've got the ministerial discussions. Hopefully that's when you start to see the bits and bolts, I suppose, of what has been deliberated upon in the programme really starting to take shape. Ross, thank you so much for bringing us the latest. That's our correspondent in Paris, Ross Cullen.